Demandez en caisse 2.
Demandez en caisse centrale, TV en caisse centrale, merci.
Food products are recalled from supermarket shelves on a regular basis. Most of the time, we don't even notice it. Yet it makes us doubt our food, to which we devote a large part of our lives, and which is as essential as the air we breathe.
Merci beaucoup, bonne journée, madame.
Sometimes the contents can be misleading. It is late 2012 in Ireland. The Director of Food Supervision notices that the price of beef has dropped. He orders DNA sampling of meat from 27 commercially sold burgers.
We found one product with about 1/3 horse DNA in it, and which was just an incredible finding. We went back and checked, we double-checked, and we triple-checked, because we understood that if we were to go out public with such a story, it was going to have, quite an effect.
It started out as hamburger, then lasagna, then moussaka and ravioli. Prevention tests in the spring of 2013 revealed horse meat in products where it was not expected.
At the time, we thought it was an Irish problem. It turned out to be a global problem. And products have been withdrawn from shelves in places like Singapore, Hong Kong, in some of the Caribbean countries. So really, we are looking at what really has developed into a massive fraud.
It was a fraud in the world of minced meat products, the most common meat product, especially in ready-made meals. This scandal could have gone unnoticed, like many others. But the Irish authorities have made this public, and their revelations have raised an unprecedented wave of outrage. Ingrid Craggle started her career as an investigator on this case. She is a member of Foodwatch, a European organisation that protects consumers.
L'Irlande, elle a balancé toutes les infos. Elle balance tout. Elle balance les noms des marques. Elle balance les lieux des points de vente. Elle demande aussi à l'industrie de faire des tests, toute l'industrie de la viande, des milliers de tests.
Now, you have no idea what she's saying. This is in Ireland. And I don't know what her accent is and everything, but this is just a taste of a lot of the information that you and I can get just on YouTube. And I really appreciate YouTube for allowing this, because they cannot stop it no matter what they try to do to censor. Now, this is another country. That's why I say all this stuff is not only happening to the good old US of A. It's also around different countries, but it's very prevalent here in the United States. You have this problem in Brazil. I guess that's what's saying Ireland, the UK is close to the United States and bad foods and obese and overweight people and diseased people than the United States. All ethnicities. This is just not a black thing. This is all ethnicities. This is not a white thing or a Latino thing, but those three groups of ethnicities I mentioned are some of the most obese. Blacks, Caucasian whites, especially poor middle-class whites, and Latinos are mainly the overweight people. Now, you go to other countries like Somalia and different countries that I can't even pronounce, you have a lot of overweight people. That's why my point is it's really not confined, if I can say it that way, into a certain ethnicity or ethnic group of people. Obesity is globally. It's global. So I don't want people to get, they setting up black people. Some of that may be true. They setting up this or whatever, like white people or whatever. It's not a black thing for my black listeners, okay? I'm not into that. I'm into the global thing. I look at things globally. Now, there are some things that are targeted for black people, no doubt. I don't doubt that. I'm not that naive. There are certain elimination things that's targeted for black people specifically. I have no doubt about that. But the majority of it is not. The majority is targeted just to low-class, uneducated, or think so, or so-called uneducated people. And it's far, far beyond just being black. Black is not the main color that's being targeted. Believe me, we're not. You have Caucasians targeted, you have Latinos targeted, you have Indians targeted, you have Irish targeted. It's globally. I want to make this clear. This is not a thing like some people may think. Boy, it always ends up, especially in America, being a black thing. You know, these white people trying. I hate that. I don't like that. I'm going to be real with you. Even though some of that is true, but very little is. Some of that is true, very little is. So I look at things globally. I'm not ignorant and I'm not naive to think that some things are targeted to hurt blacks. Yes, it is. But I'm also aware enough that some things are targeted to help all, the targeted to hurt any type of race. It does not matter. So it's not just specifically black people. It's just our pride. We are so caught up in victimhood. We think everything is targeted toward us. So we take that little bit and make it globally like all white people trying to hurt us. That's far from the truth. Matter of fact, it's part of your ignorance. You just don't know. And you might not like this, whoever you are, but that's just the way it is. If you want to hear something from me, I'm going to agree on the things. So some of the things you say and some things I just won't say nothing because I don't agree. But I know where you're going because partially that is true. Just partial of that is true. And why I'm going here because I'm around mostly of a black audience. I'll be around mostly my ethnicity blacks, and a lot of them, the majority of them, have this mentality of it's all the white man's fault because what's going on with us economically, food-wise, and everything. A partiality of that. Oh yes, it's true. We are targeted, but not as large as most people or revolutionary or black groups or religions think or believe. It's not. Because you can go to other countries and they will say the same thing. They are targeted in Ireland. They're targeted in some parts of England. They're targeted in some parts of India, which is also so-called racism. So when it comes to food consumption, everybody is targeted with bad food. Black, Latino, Irish, Indian, and even Asian, even though Asian are more educated wise of what they eat. I'm not saying everything they eat is well, but my point is, what I'll be talking about here is not an ethnicity thing, it's a world thing. See, Satanists want us to believe it's only an ethnic group that's being attacked, just like the Jews. The Jews get ridiculed more than blacks. You see? But if you care about your health, you have to just be concerned about all people, not just yourself and your group or your ethnicity, okay? You have to be concerned about all ethnicity. I don't like using the term race because we all are one race, but we are different ethnicities and different colors, okay? That's why I use the correct way to say it, ethnic groups. One race, we all are one race, but we have different ethnicities. That's why I use that term for the ones that wonder why I ain't trying to be fancy or lose you or nothing like that. I just prefer to use that ethnic group instead of race. Because when you look at race in America, they just mostly look at black and white. Not all, but mostly look at black and white. But I'm not here to talk about that. The reason I'm throwing this out there because the only way we can grow and get educated and see what's really going on, we have to look at it, get off our color all the time. Like we're the only one being targeted, We have to look at things globally. And I mean that, especially men and women of the body of Christ. We got to look at things globally in the eyes of a biblical perspective and not get caught on our race or ethnicity, even though we are targeted as black people, but so is Latinos and so is Asian. I mean, Irishmen and Indians and Jews. They can have the same type of story, just like there's always been slavery with the same type of race people. So let's not get caught up on that, even though some of that is true, but the majority of it is not. Okay. The food industry is affecting all people. Now, this is in Ireland, and you have the majority of so-called Caucasian white-looking people in Ireland. They're getting affected by bad food. It's not many blacks there. I'm not saying it's just like England. There's black Englishmen. But the majority of the obese are probably Caucasian. See? So it's a global thing. It's a global thing. Food does not have a favoritism. It does not pick out certain people unless you targeting that certain people. So when food is in the market, it doesn't say this is for black people or this is just for Latino people to kill you. Whoever, no holds barred. That's my point. This is a global thing. So for the ones think, yeah, they're attacking us, no, they're attacking everyone. Okay? But they want you to believe that. Okay, so don't get caught up in that. I don't get caught up in all that stuff. All right. So that's just an excerpt. And this documentary is called Eating Lies, The Alarming Truth Behind Food Industry. It's a lot of foreign language in there. And the only way you can really check this out if you just go to YouTube and look up Eating Lies, The Alarming Truth Behind Food Industries, because there's a lot of language up in there, and they have a closed caption up there, a translation of closed caption that's telling you what they are saying. So I can translate it here on this podcast, and I don't have the time anyway. So these documentaries, I just tell you, look them up. Look up bad foods or the food lies or food fraud, and all kinds. Not only in America, but different countries will come up, but predominantly here in America. That's what I want you to focus on, because that's where you live in America. And another thing before I leave, a lot of food does not start off that way, because if they're coming from another country, they're being touched by each, from what I'm hearing, the travel of going somewhere. If it's real food going to a processed plant in America or another country, they're tampering with it. And it's never the same by the time it gets to your country or your house or your door. It's been tampered with. It started off fresh, but by the time it gets to you, it's been tampered with when it's going to a production company, okay? So I want you to remember that, all right? So what I want everyone to understand, that we have a food industry. Now, the food industry is not only the United States, it's around the world. It's around the world. But here in the United States, it's been freely done as more prevalent than it is in other countries. Other countries have a lot of fraud experts that are really fighting against it. That's why a lot of American products are not allowed in certain European countries. So what I am saying here is not like it's not in other countries as prevalent. It's just here in those other countries, they fight against it. They really take down certain things. They really stop. They really go against it. They have advocates out there fighting against it. They're stopping a lot of this stuff and exposing a lot of this stuff. Something they're not doing a lot of. They talk about it here in the United States, but they don't do nothing about it. Because a lot of them are sold out. They have to address it to an extent here in the United States, but their hands are tied down to really try to stop it. Just like this latest news from Redacted, a show that I watch off and on, was talking about the FDA, the wicked FDA, which I call the Food and Drug Administration, now want to crack down on industries, the food industries, of labeling, how they should be using their labeling and warning people of what's in certain foods now. And in most foods, they need to crack down on the labeling. And they say this is all talk now, because a lot of people is kind of heating up now. And some people might say, well, Joe, that's a good thing, but at least they're doing something. No, yeah, they're doing something to make you feel like they're doing something, or they think that they're doing something. What they should be doing is abandoning and stopping a lot of this stuff that they're selling, because it already has been proven to hurt people or even kill some people. So they should be stopping it or putting a halt to it until further investigation, not worrying about labels. That's the last of the problem, labeling, because they can always lie on labels. Now they can almost lie on labels and don't even get prosecuted for it. So the biggest problem is stopping these foods that's known to cause damage in the American people, and hold it until they clean it up, investigate it, or just stop it, period, like a lot of countries are doing. That's what I have against that. So we are in trouble in the sense of our food, but it's not over. There's still an open door. And I will get into that more and more in the next Body of Christ Real Talk, Health Talk with Joseph Brownlee. Bye-bye. Peace out. Love you all. Super Saturday.